Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, Changing Phases Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. If you enjoy my reading, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. That way you will be notified when I upload new readings. Now today I will be doing a general monthly reading for each of the astrological signs for the month of November 2017. I'd like to remind you, though, that as the reading focuses on general energies surrounding us for the month of November, the messages may or may not resonate with you. For a more personalized reading that focuses specifically on you, please contact me at the email listed in the description box and the About section of this channel, changingphasestarot@gmail.com. You can also find pricing for readings and more information about what types of readings that I offer on my website, and that is changingphasestarot.weebly.com. You can also join me on my Facebook page, Changing Phases Tarot Readings, right? And that way we can sort of exchange messages if there's anything, any questions you might have, or any specific comments or questions related to the readings that I post. We can do that there. Now, for the monthly reading, I will be doing a 10-card Celtic cross spread, plus one additional card from the bottom of the deck. That will be for the overall energy of the month, using the Crystal Visions Tarot deck. Then I pull one additional guidance card from the Soulful Woman Guidance card deck, right? That's an oracle card deck. And one card from the Soul's Journey Oracle card deck by James Van Praagh just to complement our reading. So I'm wishing you all a very wonderful month of November, right? Hoping that it sends many wonderful things your way, especially, spending more time with friends and family for Thanksgiving at the end of the month. And I will see you in 1 minute for your reading. Hi Aquarius, how are you? Hope you're having a wonderful month. So I'm here today to do your general tarot reading for the month of November. I've already meditated and shuffled off camera, but I will just give the deck a couple more shuffles here. So Spirit, what does the air sign Aquarius need to know for the month of November 2017? Again, I'm using the Crystal Visions Tarot deck for the tarot portion of the reading. Spirit, what does Aquarius need to know for the month of November 2017? What does Aquarius need to know? What are the energies surrounding Aquarius for the month of November 2017? Alright, Aquarius, so we have at the center of your reading, the Ten of Wands. I'm sorry, way too close, sorry. Crossing the Ten of Wands, we have Major Arcana, the Hierophant. In the foundation of your reading, we have Major Arcana number 4, the Emperor. In the past position, we have the Queen of Wands. Crowning your reading, we have the Ace of Pentacles. In the future position, we have the Five of Pentacles. You in the reading are the Nine of Wands. Surrounding you in your environment, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Your hopes and fears, the Hermit, Major Arcana. And the outbound energy for the month of November. Card number 14, Temperance. And the energy, the overall energy for the month. This is the card at the bottom of the deck. Card number 15, the Devil. Interesting. Okay, we'll get into the meaning of all of this. Let me just pull your additional guidance cards. Let's figure out what additional message do you have for the air sign Aquarius for the month of November. Okay, that one wanted to come out. And you have a beautiful card. It's the card of success. Okay, and the card says, I know there is no greater goal than to love. Okay, and from the Soulful Woman Tarot deck, guidance card deck, we have, let's see, one additional message. Spirit, what one additional message does Aquarius need to know for the month of November? Please show us one additional message for the air sign Aquarius. Aquarius for the month of November. What does Aquarius need to know? Okay, and your additional guidance card is Appreciation. Beautiful card. And the card says, appreciating the good that exists in my here and now expands my awareness to all that is good in the universe. That's beautiful. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'll just position the cards a little better so that we can see them. And I will be right back with the meaning of the reading. All right, so let's get into our reading. And this is, again, for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of November 2017. Now, as your overall energy for the month, you have the Major Arcana number 15, the Devil. Now, the Devil card is interesting because what it really speaks about is, the hidden forces or those hidden negative forces that somehow, make you believe or make you feel as though you're imprisoned and things are out of your control, right? It's actually this inner force within us, which really represents our fears, our addictions, and, it makes us feel as if we are restricted in some way, right? But it's actually, it's kind of all more to do with our fears, and it really isn't real, right? So when the Devil appears in a reading, and especially as it appears as the overall energy for the month of November, you need to ask yourself, where is it, what area of your life is making you feel stuck or restricted, right? What is it that's going on in your life right now that's kind of tricking you into believing that, that things are out of your control, that you're being controlled by some type of external forces, that you're powerless, that you're, there's this hopelessness that kind of goes along with this Devil. So what area is it of your life that is making you feel that way, right? And unfortunately, sometimes when the Devil appears, it does, he can make us feel very pessimistic, very, feel a sense of despair because we feel as though everything is really so much outside of our control, right? And that makes us sort of fear the worst. So really, it's all about our fears having this hold over us and preventing us from leading a more fulfilling and optimistic life, right? Also, the Devil can represent sort of unhealthy relationships, these sort of codependent relationships, unhealthy relationships. It can also be unhealthy lifestyles, addictions, things along those lines as well. But for the most part, I would say looking at the rest of the cards in the reading, it feels as though, this is something more internal and sort of a situation that is going on in your life right now, right? And, I believe that it's just asking you to really look at which area of your life is making you feel this way, and try to put it into perspective to see that you ultimately are the one who can get yourself out of that situation, right? It's just fear tying you to it, or it's fear holding you back, but you have everything that you need to pull yourself out of that situation. Okay, and we'll see how this plays out with the rest of the cards, but that would be the overall energy. Now, what we have at the center of the reading, let me move this a little. We have the Ten of Wands card. Wands energy in the tarot deck is fire energy. Okay, and it's a suit that has to do with action, right? As the fire suit, you would think it's a very fiery, very active energy, right? So it has to do with creativity, inspiration, strength, and really just having the sort of the power to get things done, right? It's when you feel very inspired, right? You feel very inspired to get something done. With the Ten of Wands, tens in the tarot deck, they represent completion of cycles, right? The Ten of Swords, we know that's a sort of an end of a negative cycle of thinking, right? A very difficult situation. The Ten of Wands, it represents sort of the ending of a cycle after a period of struggle, right? And as this is a 10, what follows is an ace, and the Ace of Wands, it's all about new energy. It's this very new, vital energy coming in. Generally, it has to do with, could be a job offer, right? It could have to do with just a project that you're involved with, something that makes you feel very inspired, right? Something that you that makes you feel very excited and inspired. So with the 10, you can see this in this deck. It's represented a little differently, but it's still it's this heavy energy. You see the man, he's carrying the 10. The wands behind him here, right? The horse looks very tired. It looks as though they're struggling to make it up the hill or the mountainside. So it's it's a difficult energy, right? And that's true. It does have to do with feeling very burdened, right? It kind of reminds us of all the extra burdens and responsibilities that we take on in our lives many times, right? And if we think about just on a daily basis how much we all do take on it, in addition to, say, our work responsibilities, there are all other types of responsibilities, right? If you're going to school, or if you have a family, or you have children, it doesn't just stop with one type of responsibility. So it's this sort of accumulation and this weighing down of all of the responsibilities on our side. So it might be asking you to, to try to prioritize different things that you're doing, right? If it does feel as though you're feeling overburdened, overwhelmed, it could be asking you to do that and to try to find some rest and relaxation. But it's, again, as it's a 10, to me, it's an end of a cycle. So whatever is going on in the month of November, to get to the 10, you've gone through many different things, right? You've endured many different situations. And even though you're feeling as though, you're very tired, you're feeling very weary, you feel as though you cannot handle much more of it, right? Just know that, what comes after it is this new beginning, okay? So just know that what's on the horizon is a lightening of this load, right? Or releasing some of this burden or responsibility, because there is an ending going on here, okay? And what's crossing this 10 of Wands is the Hierophant card. And I thought it was interesting because if you look at the picture on the Hierophant card, and you can see all of, have the different religion symbols here represented, right? It looks quite similar to the the additional card that we have. You see that? They're quite similar in design there, so I thought that was interesting. Okay, so the Hierophant, Major Arcana, right? He's number 5 in the Major Arcanas, and he is all about tradition, okay? So he's very conventional. When he appears in the reading, it has to do with you feeling as though you need to sort of stay within the conventional bounds of, what is typically expected of you. So it's following those beliefs and systems that are already in place, not really, not going off kind of on your own, and really staying within what, the society kind of says you need to do. Is all of those societal norms, because the Hierophant it's many times tied to, the traditional sort of organized religions. We know that, along with that goes a lot of, usually a lot of sort of ceremonies and rituals and everything else that goes along with the religion. And so it's following along, right? It's not breaking the status quo, and just following those social structures and traditions. Now, this can have to do with religion, could be, right? We know the Hierophant is most definitely tied to that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be, right? This could be you just feeling as though you would like to join some type of organized group or institution. Doesn't necessarily have to be religious in nature, but, this could be joining a new group, or even joining the gym, It could just be whatever or going back to school, joining, becoming part of the student body, right, at a university. So it can indicate at times periods of increased studying, learning through formal mechanisms, right? And maybe you seeking out the guidance and the wisdom of somebody in that type of role, right? Somebody who will be able to give you the advice that you're possibly looking for here, okay? So, really has more to do with following rules, following order, being a conformist, being a traditionalist, and looking for sort of the higher truth or the higher, higher sort of explanation to something. And with this as the crossing card, as a possible obstacle here to the Ten of Wands, it seems that as though, there is, whatever this new beginning is after the Ten of Wands, it might be tied to this Hierophant. It might be tied to needing to kind of not go against the grain and follow along with traditional sort of norms, and, don't try to do anything really sort of crazy at this time, right? It's time to follow along, and do what is traditionally expected of you, if that makes sense. What you have in the foundation, as the foundation of your reading, is another very, it's a very serious card, right? A very powerful card, which is the Major Arcana number 4, the Emperor. Now, if this is a person that you have been, or you have in your presence during the month of November, this could be, right? It is generally associated with, sort of fire sign, Aries. Could be a person. It would be a strong older male. Doesn't necessarily have to be, though, right? Because the energy that is tied to the Emperor, it's an energy of power, right? Of authority. He's very protective. He's somebody who is sort of the ultimate patriarch, right? The ultimate guardian. So he is, out of the entire tarot deck, he is the big father, right? We have the Empress as the big mother, and we have the Emperor as the father. And so he he's all about protecting what is his, right? He is very he's very assured, he's very intelligent. He does try to protect his domain. So it's sort of that traditional older male figure, very structured, provides for and defends the people that he loves, right? So traditionally we think of him as, having to do with this solid family, and also as, being this patriarch of a wide sort of network of family members. He's somebody who offers guidance, he offers wisdom, right? He has a lot of life experience. He's kind of been there, done that, right? And so he is there to pass on his knowledge to the next generation. So definitely somebody who represents structure and stability. And if things are feeling slightly out of control, he is the one, or he has the power to organize everything, right? He definitely, he's very systematic. He's a very strategic thinker. And once he has a plan, right, he has his plan and he sticks to it, and he ensures, that it's seen out until the end. So if this is you, right, if there's something that you're dealing with where you're trying to break out or break away from something, and, you're trying to get out of this, this cycle, with him as your foundation, he definitely can help you, build that successful future, right? He's definitely the person who will, who will help you to get to see your ideas manifested on the physical plane, right? In the form of material gain or accomplishment. So he is there to follow the plan till the end and to help push you towards where you need to go. Okay, so this is a very good card to have in the foundation position. In your past position, you have more fire energy. Okay, we have fire at the center, right? And then we have the Queen of Wands in the past position. Now, the Queen of Wands, again, fire energy is all about action, right? But she is, she's a very dominant feminine energy. So if this is somebody that you were dealing with in the past, an actual person, then this would be typically an older female wands or fire sign, which could be Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a woman, although with the Queen of Wands, it is a very feminine energy, right? She's somebody who is very focused on her desires, getting what she wants, right? And so she's very, she's strong, she's independent. We see that, she's holding the wand here, looking very regal, but also very self-assured, right? We have the strength right next to her. So she's a very strong, very, highly energetic, very strong, probably leads a busy, active life. And she is, so that natural born leader, somebody who is also able to inspire other people. And if this is just you, so if it's not a person at all, if this is, maybe the energy that you were taking on in the past, or you've been acting more like this Queen of Wands, then it could have been you acting, in a very bold manner, being very courageous in your undertakings, in your actions. Being quite full of ideas that you're ready to, get started and sharing these ideas with others, and, sort of being more of an extrovert, kind of being around people and being very, vivacious and sort of the life of the party. But if we think about ideas and projects and plans, especially since we have these two cards here, I would say that, she is somebody who, she's fearless, right? So she's very courageous about moving ahead and making those ideas turn into reality, right? So this is a very good card to have when you're, if you're starting a new project or trying to, move out of one thing into another. She's somebody who most definitely can make things happen, right? So she's a very creative person. So this creative, visionary type of person, and can pretty much, she's capable of accomplishing anything that she sets her mind to, right? So this is a good card to have along, partnered here with the Emperor. What you have in as the crowning energy, so what's, sort of on your thoughts, on your mind, and message from the higher self, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So, again, what's on your mind? You have new things coming in, right? So there is this something new, this new project, um, this new endeavor that you're trying to, or you have it on your mind and you're trying to bring it into reality. And the Pentacles, this is Earth energy, right? And we know that the Earth energy in the Tarot, it has to do with the material realm. So it represents material things like our money, the tangible things that we can touch and feel in the, on a day-to-day basis. So our work, all of the material things that we accrue from working. And usually the pentacles in this deck, I love them because it's very woodsy, right? So the pentacle suit, there's a lot of, obviously earth energy, so lots of trees, very green, right? And here we have this beautiful pentacles in the middle. So in the traditional tarot, the aces that we usually see, they're the cards with the hand extending out of the clouds, right? It's the universe extending that new offer of something, right? So it's a divine gift. The aces are also yes cards, right? So they typically signify, if you have a yes, no question and an ace appears, it's a yes answer. Now with this energy, this is an energy that's all about stability and the tangible earthly possessions. It just means, that with this card, you have everything in your, that you need to reach a goal, to manifest your dreams, right? So it's the ability to attract what you need to prosper right now. But you need to remain grounded. You might need to trust in the help of people around you, possibly, an advisor or somebody else around you. But, stay grounded. But this could definitely be something, new that the universe is bringing in to this time, right? Could be a job offer. If that's what you were looking for, if you have been applying for jobs and interviewing, this could be the new job offer coming in, right? Or that's what you have on your mind, is getting this new job. Doesn't necessarily have to be, right? It's can also just be, any type of goal, whatever it is that you have set as a goal that, is important for you to manifest, right? And to reach. It could be anything. This could be a new, just a new project. It could be, just a project that brings you a great sense of happiness and, wealth, but not necessarily financial, right? This could be just something new coming in for you this month. Now, what you have in the future position, which is, kind of an opposite energy really to this Ace of Pentacles, it's the Five of Pentacles. Now, the Five, it's all about, a feeling of lack, and you can see the way that it's portrayed on this card. There's the mother holding the child. We have, the Four Pentacles plus the fifth one in front of her, in the snow. They're looking very sad, very alone, looking like they're cold, right? And it is a card that that has to do with, it's more about anxiety, really, when it comes to finances, because it's the worrying of having this lack of material prosperity, right? Or the worrying about failing, right? Of having failure or loss. And this could really be in any area. I mean, it is tied here to Pentacles, which, as I was just saying, it has to do with generally material things. So it could be, worrying about a loss of a job or worrying about financial insecurity, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could also indicate, worrying about poor health, worrying about or feeling quite alone, unwanted, abandoned, and anxious because of that, right? But it's important to remember that when this card appears in the spread, yes, there might be, on sort of on the one hand, you might be struggling. It might be a difficult time financially for you, but, so financially you might not be wealthy, But you might have, a loving family around you who is there to support you and loves you, so it's kind of this trade-off, right? You might be lacking in one area, but, you do have those things in another. So it's kind of it asks you not to focus too much on that and try not to let your anxiety kind of take over, right, about not having enough, because we know that when we do focus on the negative, right, we tend to attract more negativity in our lives. So if we're there, worrying unnecessarily and really just focusing on the fact that we don't have as much money as we would like, then it tends to bring more energy that way towards us. If we focus on, what we do have in our lives, so focus on the beautiful things that we have, focus on the family members, focus on the love that we have in the family, right? That will help us get through the hard times. And so I think it's more about, I don't actually see it as, there's financial hardship on the horizon for you. I think it's more of a cautionary message to say, give thanks for what you do have. Don't try not to focus that much on what you do not have, right? But focus more on the wealth that you have that might be outside of material wealth, the material possessions. Okay. Now, who you are, you appear as the Nine of Wands, so more fire energy here. And the Nine of Wands, obviously, is the card that comes immediately before the 10. And so, with the 10 of Wands being that completion, right, or the culmination, completion of whatever cycle this is. The Nine of Wands, you see that she's sitting there, she's looking very thoughtful, looking very pensive, right? She's feeling as though she's very close to completing a particular task or a project. But it just seems like, when she just thinks that she's nearly there, something else appears, right? Another challenge appears, another setback appears. But it's a card that, as you can see, she has, the beautiful animal here of strength. So it's just to remind you that, yes, even though these things do happen to appear, and there might be this one last, hiccup or this one last obstacle that you have to face before you can end this cycle, it's to remind you that you're very close. Right? So you're very close to finally achieving success. Don't give up, right? It's a sign of encouragement that if you do stand firm and, face these challenges, you are going to achieve your goals, right? It's kind of that last bit of darkness before the dawn, right? So just know that you're very strong right now, and this Nine of Wands really encourages you to remain resilient. Right? So just, know that you are nearly there, and there are new things on the horizon, right? We see that here. We see that with what's on your mind. So there are new things coming, but you might have to face, one or two more final obstacles before you make it. And what you have in your environment, so showing the energy sort of surrounding you during the month of November, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Now, out of all of the knights, right, and this is a court card, the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving of the knights, right? Some of the knights, like if we think of the Knight of Swords, he would be the fastest moving, right? He sort of rushes in and attacks everything, and he's raring to go. But the Knight of Pentacles, he is really that, slow and steady wins the race energy. And you can see that he's just plodding through the forest here. He has the staff, but it has the pentacle on the top of it, right? He's just moving very slowly. So he is about achieving, right, ultimately achieving his end goal, but he's very thorough in how he does it, right? So he's aware of his surroundings as he goes through the forest here, right? He doesn't have any weapons, just like we think of the Knight of Swords. He carries obviously a sword as a weapon. The Knight of Pentacles doesn't have a weapon, right? It's just him making his way. You know, he has his mind, he has his the goal, right? And he's working towards it. He's very resilient, he's very patient, very committed, yeah. And again, this could be a person. If it is a person, this would be kind of a younger to middle-age male earth sign, right? So if it is, it would be a Virgo or a Capricorn or a Taurus. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a male. This could be a female, right? We know it's not gender specific. So there could be, you know, a younger or middle-aged sort of fire sign person around you who, you know, is very persistent, is working towards his or her goal, and that in some way might be hindering or holding up, or that might be this final obstacle here, right, that you're having to face. So it might have something to do with that Knight of Pentacles there. If this is just you taking on this energy, then it's you trying to be very patient, you trying to, you know, be reliable, stick to the plan, just sort of plodding away, planning, a lot to do with planning, even down to sort of the finest detail, right? And then sticking to all of the tasks, sticking to whatever it is that you have set as your goal, or whatever the project is, and then you know that you will ultimately make it to that goal, right? You just have to really be conservative, sort of play things safe, which kind of ties in with this Hierophant card here, right? Just take a very moderated, conservative approach right now, right? And even though you might be feeling that change is imminent, and we do see change here, right? And there are new things coming in, and there's a need to release something or break out of something. You know, you do tend to be sort of stuck in your ways, and maybe, you know, you're stuck in this routine, you're stuck with the planning, you know. So it's kind of like you feel that something's on the way, but you're still trying to do things the same old way, right? You're trying to reach or to make it to the new things, but by kind of doing things how you always have done them. You know, so it could just say that, you know, you're that's fine, and it seems to be the approach that you do need to take at this time. And I see that with the, you know, these three cards, it's all about sort of planning and being more sort of not really conservative, but being more traditional in the sense that, you know, you're really doing things how they need to be done and not trying to go against the flow right now, right? And what we have in your hopes and fears is the Hermit. So another major arcana card. This is number 9, and the Hermit, this is a card, it's a card of healing, but it's also more than that, a card of really retreating from the world into solitude, being by yourself to seek out that deeper meaning, and whatever that deeper meaning means to you at this time, right? So it could be a time to put whatever you're working on, put your projects on hold, and that's kind of echoed by the last card that we'll see, while you reevaluate your current path. Right? So this might mean that, you know, during the month of November, you really do have to sort of retreat from the world, search within yourself for a deeper meaning, right? In order to reevaluate your goals, reevaluate the current path that you're on, and really figure out, you know, where this light, you see that the Hermit is sitting here on the top of the mountain, where this light is leading you, right? Where you need to go right now. And, you know, I'm sure that a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this, but unfortunately, it's about waiting, right? And divine timing and finding balance, because the outbound energy here is card number 14, Temperance. Now, Temperance is, yes, more than anything, it's about, I believe it's about divine timing, and, you know, things will change, things will happen when the universe kind of allows it to, and we see that there is newness here. We see the beautiful, looks like a sort of rainbow, and we have the butterflies flying around. So there's definitely new, there's rebirth. There are new things, regeneration, much like this new Ace of Pentacles here. We do have new things happening, but it's not quite timed, right? And I think we see that here, right? There's one last thing you have to go through. You're nearly at the end of the cycle. There's nearly this something new coming in, but you need to just, you need to find balance. You need to wait just a little bit more, right? And balance is important. I think when you do take time out to reevaluate everything with the Temperance card, you can try to find moderation. You can find that balance, right? You can, and this can be balanced in many different things. It could be balancing, your work life with your home life. This could be balancing, I don't know, like your job with your relationships. It could mean many different things, right? To many different people, but it has to do with moderation, right? So maybe you've been experiencing, sort of extremes in one area of your life or another. So it's time to really sort of scale back, regain harmony, regain that balance. And, this could have to do with whatever you feel is, that has been holding you back. But it's asking you to find that balance and to wait a little, right? It doesn't seem that whatever new thing you have coming in, it doesn't seem as though it's going to happen during the month of November. It seems as though this could sort of spill over into December, right? But then maybe you will find the, what it is, the answer that you're waiting for. But overall, it does look like you will be successful. I think that there is definite, the success on the horizon, but you just need to have a little bit more patience as you wait for that to happen. Now, what we have as our two additional messages here with these cards, I usually just read the description from the guidebook for each one. And so I'll start off with the card from the Soul's Journey Lesson Card Deck by James Van Praagh. And this card is called Success. And it says, success can mean many things to the ego self, but the soul only knows one triumph, and that is to love. When your soul is no longer manifested in the physical dimension, it is a time of reflection on how successful it was with that endeavor. The soul doesn't care how big your house was, or how nice your car was, or how many bank accounts you had. The soul only cares about how you expressed love and compassion. And this, I think, it ties in with this Five of Pentacles card, right? Remember I was saying about how you might not have, on the one hand, you might not have everything that you need, that the ego needs, right? But look at what you have as far as love and compassion, right? Look at that soul level. Continuing, it says, in the infinite wisdom of the universe, the more love you demonstrate, the more you will receive. And even your ego's definition of success is altered. Your notion of how you would be perceived as successful will change. The material things that you thought would make you happy will not have the same appeal. So definitely tied in, I believe, with this message, right, of what's coming up with the Five of Pentacles. The other card is card number 25, of Appreciation. And this card says, I shine my inner light on all the things for which I am presently grateful. I appreciate the abundance that exists in my life right now. For this, I am grateful. Appreciating the good that exists in my here and now expands my awareness to all that is good in the universe. For this, I am grateful. I start by noticing the smallest things and allowing these to illuminate and grow the joy and love within me. As I do so, I feel a calming effect on my nervous system and a subsiding of tension, fear, and judgment. For this, I am grateful. So it's all about, being grateful, appreciating what we do have, not focusing on the negative, not focusing on, what apparently is lacking in our lives, but appreciating what we do have, feeling successful for what, we do have in our lives. And just knowing that, everything comes to us at the right time, right? It's not in our timing, it's in divine timing that things appear in our lives. So just know that, you are successful, right? Appreciate what you have in your life, because there are many things that we can give thanks for. Not just because it's the month of November and Thanksgiving's on the way, but, on a daily basis. Just give thanks for everything that you have in your life. Take a couple of minutes out each day. Give thanks for all of the people who you have in your life, the people who love you, who surround you, regardless of if you have money or not, or, have a fancy car or not, or have that high-paying job or not. Just the people who are there because they love you, right? And know that that is the greatest form of success. Okay? So I would like to thank you again for joining me today, Aquarius. I do hope that the messages for the month of November have helped you in some way. I wish you a month full of peace, love, and light, and look forward to reading for you again mid-November. See you then. Bye.